Welcome into the Boston Sports Summit. My name is Tim Barnard, and we are presented by the Grid Network. The Olympics are here. It's wintertime. The Olympics started back on February 6th, and here we go. It's time to go. The men's hockey started on Wednesday, and the USA crushed Latvia yesterday afternoon, which was so much fun to watch. Even though the refs were trying to help out Latvia in that first period, it didn't matter. We were just that much of a better team, and we proved it, and that's why we won 5-1. But the reason why I want to talk about the Olympics is because no one is going to be awake to watch the gold medal game on Sunday, February 22nd. That's what kills me, is that the gold medal game is scheduled for the same day as the closing ceremonies. If the opening ceremonies were February 6th and it runs all the way to the Sunday, the 22nd, why are we having the biggest game for the Olympics as the same day as the closing ceremony? Why? I understand you get the time difference. Italy is 6 hours ahead of the United States, which is why Eastern time, it's going to be at 8. It's going to take place at 8:10 in the morning. Pacific Standard Time is going to take place at 5 in the morning. It's stupid, right? Comment down below, if you agree or disagree. Let me know. If you disagree, let me know why. But you're telling me that the NHL, NHLPA, IIHF, and the IOC finally agreed to let NHL players play in the Olympics, and you're going to schedule the gold medal game at a time in the countries that it's arguably one of the most important games at a time where no one's going to be awake to watch it? I mean, what are we doing here? Especially when the television provider is from the freaking States. Who thought that was a good idea? Huh? And the sad part is this game could very well be USA versus Canada. And yet they're playing at 8:10 in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. Gary Bettman said in a press conference last Thursday, February 9th, quote, "It gives us an opportunity to grow the game in places where we're not as strong as, say, we are in North America." Well, Gary, I hate to burst your bubble there, kid, but you're not even that strong in North America. Yes, Canada's number one by far. And then when you look across the world, I mean, we got, David Pastrnak is a Czech player. We got a ton of Swedes. We got some Finns. We got some Germans. Okay? We have a diverse range of athletes already playing in the NHL. Now, is it number one? Not necessarily. Probably not, because you got soccer. That's obviously number one outside of the United States. But when you look at where hockey ranks in the United States, Gary, just because you think it's strong in the U.S., it's not. United States still ranks 4th out of the 4 major sports. NHL does. And so when you go on to statistia.com, STATISTIA.com, there was a survey done in which obviously the NFL ranks number 1. MLB came in second, which was a little surprising to me, at number 2, 29%. NBA came in at third at 24%. And the NHL came in last at 17%. Now, for me, I'd argue it's one of the best. It's one of the best sports. Between football and hockey, you can't beat it. And then I got baseball. Okay? Like, that's what kills me. It's like, Gary, you say that you could grow the game outside of where it's strong. It's not strong where it's home. The United States still thinks hockey is last, which is mind-boggling. It's crazy, especially when you compare the NHL and the NBA. When you watch the NHL, all those players give it their all. Games 81-82 in every single game they're in the playoffs. Even the All-Star game is more entertaining than the NBA. The NBA, you got guys doing load management on game one. And that's how they play 82 games, and then they kind of turn it on in the playoffs. So don't even get to me on the fact that the NHL is a worse product than the NBA. NBA is by far the worst product when it comes to the four major sports. But his claim is that it's strong here in North America, and he wants to grow the game worldwide. Gary, you need to grow the game here, which is why having the gold medal game, which could very well be USA-Canada at 8:10 in the morning, is not growing the game. It's not helping out. You're scheduling this. This game needs to be under the lights. It needs to be prime time because at the end of the day, the gold medal game, this is it, especially if it turns out to be USA versus Canada. If it's that, we all saw what happened last year in the two games of the Four Nations tournament with USA playing Canada in Montreal, USA playing Canada for the Four Nations gold in Boston. What a freaking tournament that was. And now the NBA is trying to replicate that with USA versus the world, which it's not going to work. Otherwise, I don't understand why you would do this, right? And this leads me to my point of whose fault is this, right? Why did the hockey games begin on Wednesday the 11th and not, let's say, Tuesday the 10th, where if it began a day sooner, it would end on Saturday? Instead of the bronze game being at 3 in the afternoon on Saturday, you have the gold medal game at 3 in the afternoon. Or you could keep the game on Sunday and then move the closing ceremony to Monday, because at the end of the day, let's be honest, what are people even watching on Monday night? Is there any good TV shows on? Are there any, sports game? No, come on. Move the game or move the closing ceremonies to Monday night and then schedule the hockey game, the gold medal game, for 3 in the afternoon, because Italy is 6 hours ahead. This game doesn't need to go on tape delay to then put on prime time. It doesn't need to, be 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here, and then 2 a.m. in Italy? If I'm doing the math right, don't quote me on that, but you understand what I'm saying. 6 hours ahead? No, that's also foolish. That's also idiotic. I'm not asking for that. What I am asking for is the fact that you give us some grace and you go to NBC and you say, hey, you own the product. Why are we doing this? We finally have the NHL players back, and yet you're doing it this early? Like, what are we doing? And the sad part is, unfortunately, here I'm thinking, this is a brand new thing. Why, what's going on? Unfortunately, it's not. Because when you look at Beijing in 22, you look at Pyeongchang in 2018, you look at Sochi in 14, you look at Vancouver in 2010, the gold medal game was the final game right before the closing ceremonies. It's always been scheduled on the same day as the closing ceremonies, in which I think that's just absolutely idiotic. I think that's absolutely foolish, and I get it. A part of me gets it because it is the marquee event. This is arguably this will be the most watched game out of all the other gold medal events in the Olympics. Not to say that none of the other gold medals matter. Of course they matter. It's great. Women's hockey have a phenomenal team right now for U.S., but also, with downhill skiing, with the biathlon, with the bobsled, the luge, the figure skating, so on and so forth. They've all earned their opportunities to play in the Olympics, and a lot of us are watching it, and it's fun. It's entertaining. But I don't care about the closing ceremonies like I care about the men's gold medal game. Ultimately, it's a disgrace. It's sad. And the funny part is, I was surprised. I never realized this beforehand, but the last time we had NHL players was in 2014 in Sochi, and the gold medal game was between Canada and Sweden. So I'm not surprised I didn't watch it. I didn't care because we weren't playing in it. And it's funny because here you're thinking that, hey, with the NHL, you're going to get all these your NHL players. They're going to have opportunities to show the footage, show the film. The NHL team, if players are on there and they score a goal or they make a play, they get to post the video. Nope. Because in an article on NHL.com that is titled NHL, quote, in a better place, end quote, with NHLPA IIHF relationship. About halfway down the article, it says, quote, the NHL and NHLPA have been given more leeway and access at this Olympics than it had at previous Olympics. It jointly attended in 98, 02, 06, 10, and 14. It has allowed for more content and promotion to come out of the Olympics, both from the NHL and the players themselves, including on their social media channels. And then Bettman goes on to say that, quote, players are allowed to create content as participants. We're allowed to retweet it. And I'm thinking to myself, what? Like, it made no sense to me. I'm reading that going, what are we talking about? And then sure enough, Brock Nelson had himself a day yesterday. And this is what the New York Islanders tweeted out because when Brock Nelson scored a goal. I mean, it says a completely realistic and copyright-free look at Horvat's goal. Oh, sorry, Horvat. They did have one for Brock Nelson up there, but still, copyright-free? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? What a joke. Why isn't it the Islanders can post about their guys? Post the videos. Even they have to deal with copyright issues? This is the thing that kills me. It's like you're just posting a video of your team, of your player. And yet the article says that it's had unprecedented, or it's got more leeway now? Apparently not when you look at that freaking video. And the funny thing is, this Olympics has had some interesting times trying to even build the arena itself, because there were so many articles that were being written saying that the rink's not going to be done. It's not going to be done in time. The dimensions are now smaller, right? And because when you look at an NHL rink, you have a standard. It was standardized in 1929, and the standard NHL rink is 200 feet by 85 feet. Okay? Simple enough. When you look at an Olympic rink and an international rink, which, by the way, I love how it's bigger, it's wider, you got more room to skate around. When you're looking at 5-on-5, it's almost like you're watching 4-on-4. In a way, it's so entertaining. And that size, the international Olympic size, is 60 meters by 30 meters. So when you break that into feet, it is smaller lengthwise, at 196.85 feet. Okay, so it's just over 3 feet smaller, but the width comes in at 98.43 feet. It is 13 feet wider than an NHL rink. So yeah, even though it's little over 3 feet shorter in length, the width of it is 13 feet wide. It's huge. And that's what makes the game so much more entertaining. And it kind of creates two different games in a sense. Because when you're looking at NHL and how that's played, it's a lot more physical. Guys are not 5-on-5 is perfect, but guys are kind of on top of each other, which leads to more hitting, checking, all those types of things. But then when you look at an Olympic size and international size, that's when you see more skill, more skating around, free flowing. It opens the rink up that much more and makes the game more exciting, not just from a physical standpoint, but from a technique standpoint and game plan standpoint. But with this rink, it's like a Frankenstein hybrid at coming in at 60 meters by 26 meters. So with the international being 60 meters by 30 meters, this is 60 by 26, which is 196.85 feet in length and 85.3 feet in width, which is smaller than an NHL rink. It's significantly smaller than an international rink. You know, it's obviously compared to the NHL rink, it is, just over 3 feet shorter, and it's 0.3 feet wider. So barely noticeable. And my question was, why? Why did they make it this way? Yes, they did the same thing. They had the same size rink in Beijing, but here you had delays in building the arena. The Italians just delay. Then you had ice issues. People were wondering if this was going to be good ice to skate on. The NHL said it was, quote, pleased with their test event in January, but there was a delay during that event due to a hole in the ice. And yet they're still playing on it. And then you want to talk about player safety. I kind of alluded to it already. Because it's smaller in length and barely any bigger in width, you're going to see more collisions, more hits. We saw what happened with Austin Matthews just the other day or yesterday, with that elbow, shoulder to his chin. If it was wider, if it was the 13 feet wider, who knows if he's getting hit? Maybe he has time to skate around, or he could have gone out of the way, whatever the case may have been. But player safety is just, it doesn't do that at all. It's kind of a joke. So I just look at this and I think to myself, what are we doing? If you really want to grow the game, if you really want to make this as exciting as absolutely possible, this needs to be the game by itself. Nothing else. If you want to have other gold medal games, then schedule those in the morning. But for this game, this needs to be the primetime game. This needs to be on at 2 in the afternoon, 3 in the afternoon, where no one's worrying about anything. We're not worried about the closing ceremonies because that's going to be tomorrow. Or it's going to be, this game's going to be moved back a day and it's going to be played on Saturday. And I get the fact that this very well could not be USA versus Canada, which would suck to some degree, but I get that that's a distinct possibility because we've only had one game played amongst all the teams right now. So I'm absolutely reserving the right for that. But when you look at the different groups, starting with Group C, where the USA is in, we by far have the easiest group when it comes to NHL players playing for their respective countries. Because while our entire roster is made up of NHL players, you have Denmark with 6 NHL players, Germany with 7 NHL players, and Latvia with 6 NHL players. And then when you look at Group A, which is what Canada is in, they have probably the second easiest with their roster, 25 guys, all on NHL teams. Then you have Chechnya, which comes in at 11, France with 1, and Switzerland with 10. Then Group B, you have Finland with 24 guys, Sweden with 25, Italy with 0, and Slovakia with 7. And Finland already lost. So, I would still argue that that's not terrible. Not a terrible division. But in terms of NHL players, Finn with 24, Sweden with 25. Obviously, the two, quote-unquote, tougher teams in that division. Otherwise, this game, we saw what happened with the Four Nations last year. We saw the electricity USA-Canada brought. I'm not saying this is geopolitically anything close to. I'm not saying that, the hatred and vitriol between the nations is anywhere close to this. But the game itself kind of has a resemblance of 1980 USA-Russia. It does. It does. The significance of it, the entertainment from it. We saw it last year twice. Why not? That's what makes it fun. When you have something to play for like that, how can you not enjoy that? We all remember the 2010 Vancouver games and how electric that game was and how they won in overtime. How Canada won in overtime. It sucked for us, but it was still a wildly entertaining game. And Gary, if you want to grow the NHL, if you want to make this a worldwide sport, which it kind of already is, this game needs to have a marquee matchup over here in the States at just a reasonable hour. If not prime freaking time, baby. So, I don't know. Tell me what you guys think below. You can always see my stuff over at Boston Sports Summit on Instagram. Check me out and my thoughts live on Boss Sports Summit on X. Then you got all the videos I have on YouTube. And then don't forget to check out the Grid Network. Bunch of great content creators, and their thoughts on sports as well. So, thank you so much. Please like, share, and subscribe. It really helps me out. It keeps this channel alive, keeps this channel going. I really appreciate it if you could just click and comment down below. Thank you so much. And as always, go Team USA. Let's go get the gold. And God bless. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend.